Call the December Planning Commission meeting to order. Changes to the agenda, Dave? Any changes to the agenda?
I haven't been forwarded any, so I think we're good on the agenda.
Okay, I look for
Unless anybody has anything new they want to talk about.
approval of the agenda.
I'll second it.
Motion made second to accept the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of the December 22nd, 2021 meeting minutes. I look for approval of that.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Motion made second to accept the October 22nd or November 22nd, 2021 meeting minutes. Okay, Dave, I'll let you take care of number 4.
Motion for all.
Oh, yeah, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Okay, we have a CFM for the Wolf River project. Screen. And then we have Courtney, if there's any questions that she might be able to address. Our staff looked it over. It lines up with the GIS that we have for that property.
And I'll kind of throw in a little bit from there as well. Everybody knows we're working with SC Swiderski to work on a development on the riverfront property in between the old Saputo and the State Farm Insurance Building. And we've been working with SC Swiderski on that. Courtney Wolf from SC Swiderski is present. Also, Craig Hansen, who is one of the engineers from Grafe, who has worked on this, I see now has logged in on Zoom as well. So what we're just doing is the lot that you can see in the dark line, that's the existing lot. And what we're doing is separating this off. So we're going to eventually be selling off lot 1 on the CSM to SC Swiderski for their development. We are planning on, which it currently is not, but we are planning on dedicating the roadway. There's a road that's in there. It's currently not dedicated roadway, so we're going to dedicate that to the roadway for the public roadway. And then we're going to break off lot number 2 right here for future development. I kind of have the little map here that kind of shows that a little bit better, what we're looking at separating off for the sale for SC Swiderski.
you're talking Smith Street on the east.
Yes, yes, Smith Street over here. On the west side, the property, the roadway between Hilker Warehousing and what's going to be lot 1, that is also not currently roadway as well. But we are looking at putting that back as into public roadway. You can see here on the CSM that we're looking at dedicating to the public roadway for public services as well. So that's what we're looking at. Courtney, I don't know if you want to type in anything else, or if anybody's got any questions about what we're trying to do here.
I guess if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask and I can see if I can answer it. Otherwise, we do have Craig on the line from Grafe, so he can be able to help as well as he put together this map for us.
I'll also just throw in the parcel. It's actually a parcel. The parcel that's along the river where the trail is, that's where my cursor is going right now. That is still going to stay as a city's property. So there's going to be a separate parcel where that current trail is. And that's tied to stewardship funding. We can't sell that off because it's tied to a stewardship grant. So that'll retain the city's property. It'll just be to the south of that, and what you see is lot 1.
Are you going to have an entrance on the east and west side of the property?
Yes.
And this isn't showing the conceptual design, but where you see that utility easement right here, that's essentially where the driveway roadway entrance is going to be, because we're going to put, if you recall, there's the utilities that are up here on the northern side. We're going to have to relocate them. So we've got the engineering pretty much almost done. I know Grafe and our engineers are finishing up a couple little things with some stormwater, but we're going to be moving those utilities to the south and then rerouting them back through where their driveway, roadway entrance is going to be, parking lot entrance is going to be between the buildings. And then, so we have a utility easement there.
And is that about where that road, like a driveway runs through, or is that about where that is?
No, that's up here right now. That's where the current asphalt is.
Yeah.
There. That's right here where that sanitary sewer and the water line is there. This current proposed, where it's gonna be relocated is not, it's new, it's grass right now. Yeah, there's not a curb cut or anything here to designate where that is currently.
Chad, you made mention at a prior meeting about that, the side where Hooker Trucking is, where half that road is actually there, that you would talk to them.
So I talked to them originally. Originally, they were just talking about doing an easement. But after talking with S.C. Swiderski and such, felt it was just a better option just to make it a roadway because there's going to be public coming in and out through here. So I did get an email back from Hilker agreeing to go with the process to do a dedication to the public there.
So that, would that be something that, I mean, would the city have to buy that from them, or is that something they're just gonna give up, because that's actually the access to their property also?
Yep. Well, this would stay public, so they would obtain access. I sure hope they're not going to be asking us for money, but
Just a question.
no. Because technically, if they would retain ownership and if we would do an easement there, they would be responsible for any road improvements, any maintenance. So this way, they get to continue using it, and then it's going to be city roadway. So in the long run, it's probably a benefit, a financial benefit for them. Okay, that as well.
Well, and it would have been just dedicated to that property anyway, because the city abandoned a road that went to the river.
Mhm.
You know, we used to have those all over the city.
Yep.
So they just were given, not Hilker specifically, but the property address.
Yeah, Craig did find there was a resolution 951. So this used to be, must have been right away at one point in time. And the city must have vacated it and gave it to each property owner on either side. They didn't want it anymore. Now we're putting it back for the development.
It was, they were just nuisance to plow, they go to the river and so,
Yeah, there's all kinds of them all.
oh yeah.
We just did the one on the end of Beacon Avenue there, we give it the
Each property owner.
property owner decided. I mean, that's not.
They were great when they were kids, because you had.
And how does that work? And you can take that back whenever you want. Is that how that works?
Oh, well, they have to dedicate it and give it back. Yep. And- Yeah, well, we own this side, the city owns this side right now.
Right.
It's this side, the west side, that Hilker Trucking technically owns. And I've had conversations with Todd on that.
Anybody else, any other questions? Look from motion to approve the CSM for Wolf River Avenue.
Also moved.
I'll second it.
Motion made and second to approve the CSM for Wolf River Avenue. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Dave, Hancock Street.
All right, this next one is 522 East Hancock. There's a newer home on this. He owns the vacant lot next door. It's now vacant. There used to be a house there. It got to be in such rough shape that I had him, I did a raise order on it. I had the house removed. There was also a garage that had been laying on the ground for a couple of years, so that's all been cleaned up now. He wants to add, so the lot currently is not a buildable lot for a new home. It doesn't meet our current zoning standard. He's looking to put an accessory structure on there at some point. So I told him he had to combine the lots and do so. Accessory structure would be on one lot, and since there's a primary structure, he's allowed a secondary structure. If he does a combination of the two lots, he couldn't put it on the lot separately, so
What do you mean by an accessory?
a garage. Yeah, so,
So the 30 feet is what he's.
yeah, the smaller parcel there on the right. That's where there used to be a house sitting there, obviously a lot smaller. And there was a shared drive with the next property over there to the east. So He's got it all graded now. It's all finished. And now he's looking to combine the lots. So next year he can start a new.
You combine the lots and you take it out.
Yep.
That's everything that's okay on the lights?
Did he talk to you about the driveway? Or what's he doing about that? Because he's in my district.
We had some discussions, not all positive, but the last I talked to him, I thought we had kind of come to something that we could both agree on. He still is not happy about it, but I was, I allowed him to put the second driveway in.
Well, I mean, I can drive around the city of Owen, I can find 120 driveways on it.
Yeah,
My father's house in Owen.
yeah, I'm going to suggest, as we redo the zoning ordinance, that we visit second driveways and where and when they, might be a good idea to maybe allow a few more than we
I
have.
don't understand, I go by that place many times, and I don't see why it was an issue. But putting in that second drive.
Just based on the ordinance, it didn't have because his driveway on his existing house is maxed out on the lot. If he had a 12-foot driveway in front of his existing home, they do allow for a second drive. But since he was already maxed out, we couldn't. So he's basically gonna make a double wide driveway with that shared driveway. So we'll still give him the same access. He just didn't want to make the curve to pull into the barn, but I told him that's the best I could do to get him that second driveway. So otherwise he wouldn't be able to have one.
Anybody got any other questions on it? For approval of the CSM for Wolf River Avenue project? Or Hancock, I mean, 522 East Hancock. My mind's floating around here.
Long day.
I look for approval for the Hancock Street project. Need a second to approve the CSM for Hancock Street. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, Dave, back to Suresh.
So our next agenda item on the north end of, so we've looked at the southern part of this at a previous meeting for the multifamily units, and this is for the House Road project, also SC Swiderski. The north is the first draft of the concept for the pre-plat for the lots. There's still some work we might have to do with that cul-de-sac that's going in there. I've got to look up somewhere, there's some code language that regulates how long that road can be.
I believe it's a minimum of 300 feet or a maximum of 300 feet to the from the main road.
Okay.
I believe the ordinance was. I know I did consider that ordinance when I did design that out, so it should be in compliance to that.
I'll double check on that just to make sure so we can put that to rest.
We have Cal here as well.
Also in our ordinance, in a new planned unit development, there is a minimum 100-foot wide lot width. The ordinance doesn't specify which part of the lot has to be the 100-foot. So all the lots have at least one width dimension that's at least 100, but you notice the ones on the inner circle, see how the front's shorter because of the way the road curves. So like the middle or back half of those lots still meet the 100-foot. That was the only thing that I sort of had a little hesitation on meeting that part of the zoning requirement, but I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate the zoning doesn't say where on the lot that 100-foot width has to be.
That's
I may have to tweak that too going forward on.
See, up in Cedarhurst, they all.
I was just going to say that, to me, I think is pretty common with a.
Yep.
Going off the road.
Yeah, I'm just going by what the ordinance stated. So like I said, we may have to tweak that a little bit too as we move forward, as we get these new developments in, especially when there's a curve in the road. it kind of limits you a little bit on some of the lot sizes. So,
You're gonna ask.
this, as far as I know, isn't the final draft. This was just kind of something to give us an idea of what they were looking at doing and just kind of see if anybody had any questions or concerns to see if we can kind of maybe move this concept forward that they've come up with here.
I have one question for you. Is the access going out onto House Road two places or only one place?
Just one place.
One? That be up close to the Cedarhurst one or the other subdivision on the other side of the road? The driveway next to them?
No, our multifamily actually lines up with that subdivision on the east side of House Road.
Right here, Cal?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this entrance would be farther to the north. Closer to that.
Yeah, I think that the closest other entrance road is north of that one, actually, on the east side of House Road.
Yep, that's Alcan.
That's Alcan Road, yeah. Anybody else have any questions for it?
It's gotta be real close to Copperstein's driveway that, where that comes out of that.
Yeah, pretty close. Obviously, Farm's on the east side, because he's on the corner. Pretty close to Gordy.
So this isn't the pre-plat. We'll be looking at that a little later. This was just kind of to
This is not the purpose.
roll this out for us to give us something to look at. So we don't need to take an action on it. Just want to make sure no one had any concerns or questions on the concept that they're moving forward with.
Anybody else got any questions for it? John?
No,
Move on then to update on planning issues.
It's good coordinating, Cal. Thanks so much for jumping on.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Update on planning issues and other agenda items?
Other than if people still have some ideas about the International Property Maintenance Code, haven't done a whole lot of legwork on that, but if anybody that wasn't aware of it, we're looking at possibly looking at adopting with amendments, a kind of a minimum housing standard for the city. And we're kind of taking suggestions from the group. So anybody here that doesn't have a copy of what the code would be, I can get you a copy.
John has to, you want to counsel.
I'll get you.
Everybody else here has, I think everybody else would rather.
I know everybody's busy, you know, with Christmas coming and everything, but if you have time to look through that and have any thoughts or suggestions, just send me an email and I'll kind of compile everything. We can talk about it a little more in a future meeting. So we've got the comprehensive plan. We're meeting next week, Monday, to go over some of the mapping and some of the other items. So I'm assuming in probably the next agenda, get them back, Cedar Corp to look at that.
All the Red Sox.
They're moving dirt. I don't know if anybody's been up there, but they're taking off topsoil last couple of days, and they're hoping to get 2 of the foundations dug and at least 1 building started yet this year. So they're pretty excited about getting going on it. So.
He doesn't got anything he has to come back to us with, does he?
What?
He doesn't have anything else he's got to come back to the planning commission for, does he? That's to get some apartments?
Not on the, no.
Yeah.
I think he's all set. So.
There's some utility things we're working, finalizing yet. I don't know if they got everything with the water side, but water side is.
State's given the green light, so they did some of the plan review and that stuff. So, and we're all set on our end in the building department. So.
There's a couple little storm water things that we're working on yet, some details.
Do they have to put a pond in there? Where's that gonna be?
There's like a road right away through there and that property. Bordering other properties on Pershing Road.
There's quite the grade difference on that property too. So they've been kind of working through some of the nuts and bolts, trying to get that thing to work. So I think they're pretty well there.
Maybe they'll build a ladder that community garden is out there.
No, that'd be a long way.
That's too far away, yeah.
You'd be pumping uphill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's up top.
Yeah, that's close to the church.
Yeah.
So I think that's all we've got for upcoming agenda items that I can think of right off the top of my head. So
I'm just gonna go back to the account plan information. I didn't receive any, I don't know if you received any comments from the commission.
nothing
last
from
round
anybody.
Of the future or proposed land use map. You guys have nothing, because we were waiting on to see if you guys gave us any input. If not, we're gonna be meeting, like Dave said, next week with them to kind of show what we did internally. There's some questions and things like that, but your last kick at that cat to give comment before Monday.
So if you can think of something or see something on there, let us know, because they're trying to get this thing kind of keep it moving. Been kind of stalled for the last couple of months, so they're trying to move to that next step. They've done quite a bit of work on it so far.
When does Swiderski actually think they're gonna be doing something? Digging in the ground, actually.
Yeah.
When do they think that's gonna happen? Next year?
Oh, Swiderski?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna, yeah, they're,
There's a bunch of things we gotta get. We have not created a developer's agreement yet. We're working on that. We gotta get the utility relocation plan finalized and everything. We're working out nuts and bolts on the developer's agreement. There's things we gotta work out there. So
I think they are hopeful to get going next year, but yeah, like I said, we're not there yet. So
time will tell. There'll be some construction because if we gotta do the utility relocation, for sure, that'll happen first, which would be nice. Whether we get all that stuff done and then their timeline for things. Yeah.
Well, that has to be done, whether this goes to actual construction or not, but we never, yeah,
You never sell it.
right, right.
There's utility relocation.
With progress.
And there's site fill. We did some soil boring, so the fill is not the best, so we're still working out who's sure, because it's in a TIF district, so we're still working out those details, who's responsible for what. So we're working out those.
You gotta raise that up.
The northwest corner has to come up, but also there's bad soils throughout it as well for the foundations. So we did write a neighborhood investment grant for over $1 million. With all this grant money that's out there right now, so we wrote a neighborhood investment grant to help us finance all of it. So keep your fingers crossed that we're one of the lucky ones to receive that money. But we do have the TIF district financing. That's what our plan was originally, but if we get the grant money, that's just gonna be bonus.
they got a couple big projects they're doing in other cities right now too. So I don't think, I mean, it's a priority to them, but they're pretty involved with these others. So, and they're coming along pretty well on the other projects. So they'll probably be able to devote more time to this project. Yep. I think they have another one going as well.
Got anything, Jeff? Nope. Thanks for doing our next meeting date.
Well, the fourth Thursday in January would be the 27th.
Does that work for everybody?
What is it, January 27th?
Yeah.
7th at 5:15. If you have any other agenda items you want to look at, let me know.
For an adjournment?
Also,
I'll second it.
Motion made to adjourn. All in favor?
I